I can't do pure gore.
It's a different thing. Yeah.
I sometimes actually close my eyes while watching The Pit. Like, I'm a horror fan who can't watch people bleed.
Welcome to the Warner Brothers Lot. I'm Jonathon Buckley, and this is A Lot More. In The Pit, the complex character of Dr. Cassie is played by the very talented Fiona Dourif, and she joins us today to detail some of her very unique experiences that have led her to this high point in her career. Fiona, thank you so much for coming in. I know we've already been having a good chat before we started. We're figuring out things about rent-controlled apartments and how you can never leave once you're in one.
You can never leave. Your life
If you're
stays...
so fortunate to find yourself in one in Los Angeles, it's important to hold on to that until the day you die.
Until the day that you die.
Yeah.
Never get married, have your life stagnant, pay $1,500 until you die.
It really is that way. I remember I had to give mine up and it was heartbreaking. I was like, I can't believe I tried to give it to a friend and it was just like, yeah, so you're still in yours. That's great. I love that.
Actually, I have a neighbor upstairs who is 83. And I was like, oh, that's my future. Homer, thank you.
I don't think so. All right. Well, obviously we've got you in here today because we want to talk about The Pit, but also I want to find out a little bit about yourself as well. So
that's
very nice of you to come and join us. So you're Gen X, you were saying just a second ago.
As are you.
I think it's a zennial.
Yeah.
Isn't that the mid-generation between Gen X and millennials that says that we grew up analog as kids and now we're digital as adults, and so we bridge the divide. We're the great connector with the before times.
Yeah, but just to be clear, you made up zennial. It's not a real thing.
It's a fun game, though. I like it.
I think Gen X, I could vote at 9/11. I was like, I'm not a millennial.
Yep.
And yeah, I definitely remember life without the internet, don't you?
Yeah, I do. It's wild.
I remember, meet me on this corner. And then if they didn't meet me, you just didn't see them.
Oh, yeah. I remember calling my mum on a phone booth. Mm-hmm. Did you ever have, this is how old I am, because I'm a bit older than you.
I know what you're
with the
say.
telephone, did you have the rotary dial?
Yes, I was born in 1932.
I had the rotary dial.
No, we did too, actually. We did in the kitchen. And we also had a black and white TV.
Oh, yeah.
That I used to watch I Love Lucy on.
Oh, great show. Yeah.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it holds up,
simple
too.
times. It does, till to this day.
I know, it does, yeah.
Well, let's talk about The Pit because Dr. Cassie has been part of your life now for...
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it come out of nowhere? Was it something that you were aiming towards?
You're always aiming to get on a John Wells show that's really successful.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think that was my trajectory at all. I had actually left Los Angeles because I hadn't worked in LA for so long. I subletted my rent-controlled apartment. Let's be clear. I did not let it go.
It's what you have to do. It's what you have to do.
Yeah, I had left. I had moved to Portugal.
Great place.
I was living in Lisbon.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could put myself on tape and then fly to whatever place they're shooting because it's never Los Angeles anymore, which is a tragedy.
Yeah.
Because if you make a show in Los Angeles, you realize that it's a crazy amount of talent in every department that you have access to here.
What year did you go to Lisbon?
I left the country in 2023.
Okay, so
and I was
COVID
waiting
finished.
for...
Not finished, but we were on the tail end of everything.
No, wait. At the beginning of 2023, I think we hadn't struck. The strikes weren't happening.
Got you.
Yeah, right?
Is that what it was? I'm thinking because I get time folded for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, everybody went into a vortex.
It really did. Things that were a long time ago seem like yesterday, and things from yesterday seem like a decade. It was slightly after COVID and around the time of the strikes.
I theoretically went to Portugal, but they were so backlogged in issuing residency cards that I didn't have my residency yet. I ended up in this leap year that people do when they're 19, but I was 41.
Had you done one when you were 19 though? Had you done that sort of thing?
I actually had been an expat before, but so the answer is yes.
Okay,
actually. But it was interesting. I went to Mexico City, the Middle East, and India and Turkey that year. Yeah. The world got really big in 1 year.
Were you doing that solo?
Basically.
Brave.
Yeah, thanks, man.
well, anytime you go traveling anywhere outside of your home country by yourself, male or female, it's a brave thing to do.
You know what would be not brave for me is to do it with another person. I feel like my whole life I've been doing things alone, and I'm like, maybe there's some frontier here where I'm
connection,
where I'm connected to another human. I've lived a far-flung independent life to a point of fault. Yeah.
Did you go to college in Ireland? Did I read that?
Yeah, though I didn't finish college, which I had a big hang up for and then got over it when I was in my early 30s. But yeah, I did 2 years of what is like kind of their last year of high school. It's called the Leaving Cert, or like the English A levels. So as if you were like a bad kid in high school, which I was.
Yeah. Oh, bad or naughty?
I was very naughty.
That's not the same as bad.
I was probably bad too, to be honest.
I feel like naughty. I think naughty. There's a difference there. There is.
You should ask my parents. Yeah. I was always scared to get kids. I was like, God, I would get one like me. It'd be terrible.
So you didn't finish the school, but you would have learned a lot just being exposed to the world.
It took me a long time to get on my feet. Mm-hmm. It took me a long time to make a living as an actress. And so I had trials and tribulations. But I also think it's part of the reason I got cast as Cassie, actually, is I remember the character breakdown read like, no matter how bad it gets in the hospital, she always knows that it could be worse. And I was like, I think that's real.
Yeah, so you might have carried that a little bit with you into, was it a traditional audition? So
I taped it.
Yep.
And then I got a call a couple weeks later. I was in Lisbon. I taped it in Lisbon. I got a call a couple weeks later that was like, can you fly to Los Angeles? Because you have to go in for person. I was like, this is going to be like a $1,400 audition.
Yeah.
I was like, can I just tape the callback? And they said no.
You knew John Wells was producing?
We knew John Wells was producing, and I had actually done a pilot for him during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
That didn't go to series, but was a horror pilot. And I knew I was right for it if they were looking for, let me put it this way, I am a legitimate version of the character.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Yeah. So like parallels between the character and your own life kind of thing, or?
Yeah, which doesn't always have to be there, but but like a understanding or essence.
Yeah. You can kind of like, I get this. You read it and you're like, I get this.
Yeah.
I get where this is.
Yeah, it was kind of effortless, actually. They're not always effortless, but this one was.
But that's nice feeling when you're putting it on tape and you're like, oh, I got this, because sometimes you get them and it's not like that.
Oh man,
it's a struggle, and you're like, I don't know.
The amount of ingenues I've put on tape, I was like, nobody is going to hire me for this, you guys.
Yeah.
And I still go through the process, but I'm like, this is awkward. Everyone knows it's awkward.
Yeah. The horror pilot, well, that would have, I feel like, been a good fit, because you've done a lot of horror,
A lot of horror. Yeah, I also love it, yeah.
We've been very fortunate to chat to a lot of people from the Pit, and everyone's got a very different story from how they've found their way into this series. Are you an LA born and raised?
Raised.
So you've been in Hollywood, you know the deal, and your dad's also a very accomplished actor as well.
Wonderful, strange, excellent actor, yeah.
So people would know him from voice of Chucky. His
first movie he ever did was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he was Billy Bibbit.
Yeah,
who stuttered and killed himself.
Okay.
Just like an extraordinary performance.
Wow.
He's worked with like incredible directors, but he's very much a character actor. So I saw in Hollywood the ups and downs of it. Like we lived in apartments. We were a big house family, and it's the coolest life. I'm so appreciative that I get to do it, but there's no job security and there's no sense of security, period. You know, and also just growing up around it, I'm aware of the ups and downs. You don't know if your next job is ever going to come, and so I'm very aware of the trade-offs.
It's interesting that you chose to follow the footsteps too, because some people might have been spooked by that, seeing it firsthand up close, the uncertainty of everything. You didn't just sort of back away.
Well, I did initially, and then got into it when I was 23.
Did you learn a lot from your dad? Did you get to play a lot with your dad?
No, I sort of had a different sort of childhood.
I don't mean to laugh. It's just like, I was like, okay, where's this
going? No, I just come from like eccentric people in a way that I think is cool. You know, my mother was a professional psychic. She taught something called remote viewing, which the easiest way to explain it, this is all true. So the American military funded basically research into whether parapsychology was real in the 70s at the Stanford Institute. And there's a book that was, and a movie made about it called The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So my stepdad was one of the 4 people in the military that developed remote viewing. And my mother taught it. And from the time I was 12 to about 18, I, learned it and sort of lived in this subculture that was very interesting, but quite paranoid. They were preparing for the end of the world the whole time and actually all moved to this land in Hawaii to prep for the end of the world.
For the end of the world. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
or the end of society.
Was there a timeline on it as far
Yeah,
as
but it kept getting pushed back.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's good.
I think it initially was 2001 was when it was going to all happen. It was going to be solar flares that dry up all the fresh water on Earth.
Okay.
And then, they were accumulating like guns, and there was like a whole alien part of it where there was like very, very clear, steady beliefs on what was going to happen.
Well, it's nothing if not interesting. And I just think I love this sort of stuff because I just think it's interesting. I think it's really interesting. And it's funny you brought that up, the parapsychology thing, because I was just talking to it randomly at a coffee meeting with a friend. A guy showed up and was going on his way to go and work with the military.
Oh.
Talking about exactly this.
About parapsychology?
Yeah.
The research. I wonder, was it remote viewing?
It's got to be something along those lines. I was having trouble following a little bit, but I was like, but wait, they're paying you. He's going to the military to go and talk about this.
Also, to be clear, this program, which was I think called Project Stargate, was declassified in 1994, and they say it doesn't work. And gotcha. I have very confused opinions around it.
I was a little confused hearing about it for the first time. So, but now I'm going to have to go and look up Project Stargate because
Project Stargate,
it's really
It's also like part of the culture I was raised in. I actually have one tattoo, which is the emblem of my mother's company because she has passed. Nice. So it's like no, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. It turns out parents die.
Yeah.
Eventually, it happens to all of us. Yeah. But it's in testament to my mother and kind of this subculture I was raised in.
I just think it sounds so cool. Like it sounds, like I said, nothing if not interesting, and it sounds like you've had a really interesting upbringing.
Though, I remember kind of being like 15, 16 and having all these like strange sort of people around and belief systems and kind of knowing that it was odd. And I was like, oh, this is going to make like really interesting like dinner party stories. Yeah. But what happens is it's not relatable enough to talk to people about.
So people kind of.
So I save it for the Warner Brothers podcast.
There's plenty of people. Hopefully, will tune in and be like, "Oh, guys."
I remember. What was if anybody was around my age, Major Ed Dames, who was my stepdad, was really big on Coast to Coast radio.
Okay.
If anybody remembers that, Coast to Coast. Very wacky people in the middle of the night talking about like space aliens and the hybrid Martians under the Sierra Desert and all of these things that I was kind of raised believing in.
Bring that back because I feel like it's imminent. Are we due for an alien announcement here at some point? With the way things have gone for the last 10 years, I just wouldn't be surprised if it was just like, oh, okay, and just one other thing. Yeah, there you go, gang.
Be like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah. Anyway, I've dragged you way off topic.
Yeah, but Cassie, I think, was not raised in that culture.
I do love it though, but it does seem like an interesting departure from your horror days to now being like I would say heavy medical drama, like a heavy. Your second season this year has been pretty heavy, like with particularly the cancer patient storyline. Do you find those storylines difficult personally, or do you separate the two and just be like, this is my job?
There's an exhausting element to it, but it's incredibly satisfying. Yep. So it's because to do it well, it takes all of your energy. And that Roxy storyline, I mean, it felt like months we were shooting that. Yeah. And I think everybody involved in the plot line really started thinking about death in a way that I think isn't negative.
Yeah.
But we do have like a finite time here. And I think that's a theme of the storyline. It's like, you know, Cassie McKay looking at a woman who is her age at the end of her life with children, with a child like she has, you know, and not a husband and what's missing in her life. It's just like an existential journey. You know, and sometimes I think about death in a way that's not negative.
Well, if
but I do think about it.
Experienced it firsthand, which as you mentioned you had, and I have too. You know, there's a certain age where it becomes more real to you, and you realize like, oh, wait, this is part of life that we're all going to encounter multiple times, and start to figure out how to approach it. I guess in a healthy way, I guess.
There's a philosopher I really like who does this exercise of like deciding at the beginning of the year to live his year like it's his last year on Earth. And it doesn't mean that you don't like work towards long-term projects or anything, but to really keep the finite, you know, truth kind of at the forefront of your experience. It's an interesting exercise.
Yeah. I like that.
I tend to like click less when I think about it.
Yeah. Think about how much I don't even want to think about how much I waste on just
right? You like blink, you're drooling.
You're drooling.
And you kind of feel bad
and
after.
You feel bad. But this is the thing, you know. And this is how I knew that there's something wrong with these devices. We had a little girl recently, and when she sees me on my device, I feel shame.
Yep.
Immediately. And that's not something I'm thinking about consciously. I see if I'm like this and I catch her looking at me, I go, oh, God. And I know it deep down that for whatever reason, there's something wrong with that. So
I think we're going to look back at it like nicotine or smoking.
I said this exact same thing to my wife. Sorry, I'll let you finish your thought.
No. That was it. I'm glad I got that reaction.
I said exactly this to my wife. I feel like cell phones are going to be our generation's cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know, when I grew up, smoking was totally normal. You sit around, the family's sitting there with an ashtray in the house.
Yeah, me too.
Smoking, drinking coffee, kids are there playing and everything else. And you didn't know any different. You didn't know any better. And so nothing against any parents that smoked back in the days when we had kids. But it's that same thing. I wonder if, you know, one day the news will come out like, oh, no, we were actually rotting our brains, like actually doing it.
I think
and
it's
we were
real.
Giving it to our kids and going, hey, it's interesting that you thought of it exactly the same way.
Yeah, well, it very much feels like a drug.
Yeah.
You know, because I get the impulse to do it. And it feels like an impulse to turn off.
Does it find its way into your hand when you're trying to not pick it up, and then all of a sudden you realize I'm back in. Yeah, I was trying to put it down.
I think it was the other day I got out of the bath and like put a towel in, and I was just kind of tired or something, and I like sat down on my bed, and I realized when I like came out of the click hole, I was like, I'm completely dry.
Yeah,
I'm in this towel. You know. I was like, what did I just do for like the last 45 minutes?
Yeah.
And there's an element that feels like getting high. You're just like dulling everything. Yeah. I mean, it's probably not chemically more destructive, but I think it leads to what I kind of think of as like conceit. It's like, who am I in compared to all of these people? It's all of the things that kind of make human beings miserable, which is our tendency anyway to always kind of compare and compete. I think it's like human nature. But when you're not doing that, when it's less self-referential thought, I think you're happier. It's just all geared to kind of subconsciously make us more miserable.
I feel it. I got to shoot. I was lucky enough to shoot a show where we were on a ship and there was no service whatsoever. And so everybody had to just spend time together.
Isn't that interesting?
And there was no point even bringing your phone because it didn't work.
Didn't work.
And boy, oh boy, the relationships that were made.
And
fostered. And everyone came away with lifelong friends and it was wonderful.
Beautiful.
So, I don't know.
I go on these like Vipassana retreats once a year. I actually can't do it this year.
What was the name of it again?
It's called Vipassana. I go on these like silent meditation retreats where all of the stimulus is taken out and it feels like jail actually. It's like in rural Massachusetts, but it's just you and your brain and being alive, and all you're doing all day long is trying to like focus your attention on the present. It's very hard actually. I'm not somebody who finds it easy. I find it's usually a struggle, but you see how beautiful really simple things can be. When you take addiction out of it.
Yeah. Just sit and be. It's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The trees are they're so elegant. Who knew?
Who knew? The Pit. Let's go back.
Okay.
I feel like we could do. I'm like, I'm into
else are we
this. Let's
talking
get
about?
some coffees and have a good chat. How do you feel getting to come to the Warner Brothers lot to work? I'd like to ask that because
How
I
did
get
you know
excited.
that was the best part?
Is it the
it's
best
like
part?
one of the best parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's maybe not the
I
best
feel
part.
it
but-
myself. I feel very lucky coming in. It's
It just feels like I'm part of this like legendary
You are.
industry. It's hard to explain this to people who just watch the show and aren't a part of it, but it's a joy to make.
Yeah.
Everybody feels really lucky to be there. And our crew is just so professional and good. And you know, even during the mass casualty, I remember last year, we were just having it was so joyful.
I wasn't sure what you were going to, what word you were going to use.
It was so joyful.
Joyful. I did not
Yes.
expect.
Yeah, it was joyful. I mean, I take the work really seriously. And when there's like heavy content, it feels like a ride.
Yep.
Not to be too self-serious about it, but it feels like respectful and important, like church or something. You're careful around it and you're like waiting for it. But that, even when it's hard, is deeply satisfying and then just exhilarating.
I could understand that just given the depth of the topics that you're highlighting throughout the show, and there's so many different stories. It's very Jonathon, our producer, before we were explaining, it's a very dense show. There's so many things, and whilst you might not resonate with each individual story, there are so many stories that will resonate with so many people.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Some episodes that are genuinely hard to watch.
Yeah.
To create that and sort of be honest with that and show that. I think it's good. Even though it's difficult sometimes for people to watch, I think it's good. And so I get why you feel exhilarated. I get that this is it's an important thing.
It was really cool to see the success of something with not a lot of bells and whistles, right? It's just we're trying to tell real grounded stories that happen in actual American emergency rooms, and it's enough.
Yeah.
You know, and all of the characters, I think, really intentionally are like flawed real people trying to do well, which is all of America, actually. I mean, I think that about people. I think America was really thirsty for that. I think there's like a kindness through our show that's not didactic.
Was it surprising, the success? I spoke to John just last week about this.
John Wells?
Yeah, such a nice guy. And I said, were you surprised? And he instantly, yes, I was surprised at the success. Because on paper, medical procedural, emergency room, you'd be forgiven for thinking that, well, I used to watch ER Greys. I've seen some stuff. Was it a surprise for you when it just was so well received?
Totally.
Really?
Also, all of my instincts were wrong. I'm so glad I'm not a producer on the show. I was like, you guys can't not have music. And
What's
then,
our intro song going to be?
I'm just like a moron. Nobody let me make any decisions. But I read it and I felt like my first thought was like, are people going to be able to follow it? There's so many scenes where it's really about the medicine, but you end up being able to follow the characters just through looks, you know? And I really think that another secret like sauce of the show is we treat the audience like they're really smart.
Yeah.
Most of the audience didn't go through medical school. Like they wouldn't know if what we're saying is accurate, but what we're saying is accurate, and it's like painstakingly accurate. And people can kind of tell. When I saw the second episode in season 1, I thought to myself, oh, this show's really good. But I still didn't think it was going to be. I did not. I didn't think. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't realize that the show was that successful until I was on stage at the Emmys. Because you can't tell. It's your own algorithm. You're like, I don't know, the Pitt's everywhere, but like it's all geared towards me and what I click on. And then when I was on stage at the Emmys in that horrible dress, I was like, oh.
You didn't like your dress?
No, I didn't. I didn't know what I was doing, man. I didn't know what I was doing. I have since figured out how to pay for a stylist.
Oh, okay. Is that the secret?
That's what everybody
I didn't
does.
realize.
Yeah, I didn't know it either.
Well, this is a whole new world.
It's a whole new world.
A whole new world. Like, I mean, you're famous now.
No. I'm not
You
famous.
are.
No.
Well, I don't know. I feel like.
Okay, I'm very, very famous. No, I don't feel famous. Also, it's like the product of being a character actor's daughter. But you go through these kind of swings, right? And like none of this feels like very associated with my identity. It just feels like this ride I'm on.
As you were saying, with your dad's career, you've seen successes, and then there's like the good times, and then there's the lean times, and you've kind of had that with your own career. Like you've had like successes, and you've kind of petered along. But this is one of those sort of where
huge
it's
upswing.
gone.
Yeah.
Woof. And I guess I'm just trying to understand how that feels and how you process that, and if you have that view of like, this is just a flash in the pan, we'll see where it goes.
It feels like a ride I'm on. I mean, I actually feel lucky. So I was cast in the show when I was, I think, 42.
Yeah.
And, it took me a long time to make a living as an actress. I waited tables and bartended for until I was 34. So 14 years, 15 years.
Builds character, I think.
Yeah, I'm a very good tipper. I can make a mean martini and latte.
Yep.
This feels like a roller coaster and this cool thing I get to experience. Yeah. And I think that I'm happier when I'm not trying to latch on and keep something. Like a fun ride that I get. And also one that's rare.
Yeah, totally.
Not everybody gets it. And it's cool. Getting all these texts from people who kind of rejected me.
It's like, I remember. I'm not going to hold it against you, but I remember.
Oh, I held it against
them. Oh, you did?
I was like, no, you don't get a text back. No, that's not fair. My honest to God main association with it is it feels very, very lucky, not in a self-deprecating way, but it feels like this very cool gift.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I think you've got a very bright future.
Oh, thank you,
I
sir.
do. I think you have a very bright future.
Wait, can I tell you? I'm going to plug something that I can't even talk about.
Please.
But you know what? One of the coolest thing that happened from this is I really love art house horror, and I'm involved in a project now. I leave to go to Dublin in a week with just one of my favorite directors that I've ever known. And this is they're not famous. It's not just to be able to have access to stuff I think is really good is. Yeah, it just feels incredibly
That's really
satisfying.
Because you're a fan. You're a fan of horror.
Yeah, I am.
I'm right now. I'm all. That's the genre in the household at the moment.
What was your favorite movie last year?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie, but in the genre, I think that the Terrifier series that came out of nowhere. I was like,
not what I thought you were going to say.
I'm going to go to the cinema and watch this because.
You watched Terrifier in the cinema? Oh, man, mad respect.
I mean, don't judge me. I know that's a series.
Absolutely not.
But it's a fun genre, and it's great to see that you're still active in that world.
To be honest with you, though I've met the Terrifier guys a few times, I can't do pure gore.
It's a different thing, yeah.
I sometimes actually close my eyes while watching The Pitt. I'm a horror fan who can't watch people bleed or get humiliated. I can't watch humiliation either.
Oh, okay. I never really thought too much about that, the humiliation.
I can't watch humiliation. You know who really can't watch anything that's in any way disturbing is Chucky himself.
Oh, is that right?
Can't do it.
No good. Can't do it.
I was
think about the contribution. Wow.
Isn't that funny? He's a real wimp.
Fiona, this has been so much fun.
Yeah,
I feel like
man.
I could chat to you for hours. You're doing a great job. Can't wait to see what happens to Dr. Cassie.
Oh,
hopefully
thank
her
you.
love interest is still alive. Not alive in the physical sense, but is
does he make it? It was a bad knee.
Will we get to see romance bloom?
Does Cassie get laid? Here's hoping.
It would be
she
good.
needs it.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Cheers.